The Kansas Jayhawks being good at basketball. Death, taxes, and that. But this wasn't just any win. This was stupid impressive. They're trailing by 12 in the second half against a Kentucky team that looked surprisingly good to me. I don't know if I was ready for such a youthful team to be so sharp in their first major game this season. I was a little blown away with how they came out of the gate, with them leading late into this game. I didn't know if Kansas could surmount that at the very end. Remember, they're still learning to play. Some of these guys are still learning to play together, but the fact that you have guys like Kevin McCullough out there, I'm not even going to mention Hunter Dickinson first. It's Kevin McCullough. 39 minutes and 59 seconds. That's how long it took. He got a triple-double. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. It's only the third triple-double in Kansas basketball history. May I remind you, the man that invented this sport started his coaching career at Kansas. Or I don't know if he started, but he coached at Kansas. Was a bad coach, by the way. This is the first in Kansas history, the first triple-double to feature assists. That's per Rock Chalk blog on Twitter. I use a lot of this great follow, by the way, for trying to follow along with Kansas basketball, who seems to be, not just seems to be, they are the team to beat in the Big 12 right now. Kevin McCullough, third triple-double in KU history. DeJuan Harris, 23 points, career high, and 7 assists. He has stepped up nicely into somebody that Kansas is going to have to lean on. And then there's Hunter Dickinson, career high. He just did. We already knew his name, right? The Michigan kid, one of the best players in college basketball. We all already knew who he was. He didn't have to prove anything, but he's gone out and set 2 career highs in the same game. 27 points, 21 rebounds. You're down by a dozen, and that team that's still trying to piece it together, still trying to figure out, okay, what is this new leadership role for DeJuan Harris, where he's not the spark plug guy off the bench, and he's actually getting a lot of playing time. How does he fit into that? Well, pretty darn well. And I was, again, the most impressive part of this is how Kentucky came out of the gates swinging. How Kentucky was so good. You hold a guy like DJ Wagner for 1 for 12. You hold him 1 for 12. Antonio Reeves had was 7 for 25. My notes, I circled 7 for 25, 3 for 17 from deep. You're forcing guys into bad shots defensively, and it's that defense that's going to help Kansas win down the stretch. 6 for 18 from 3 was enough. 27 for 36 from the free throw line. That was enough. 8 offensive rebounds to Kentucky's 15. You lost the offensive rebounding battle, but your defensive rebounding was 10 plus what Kentucky was. You point at what Kansas was able to do in this ballgame: 22 assists to Kentucky's 14, 7 steals, 4 blocks. They didn't force the turnovers. They didn't force turnovers. The rebounding wasn't perfect. But more than anything, you got to the doorstep of the game. You got to the doorstep of the game, and you found a way to win. Savvy shooting, you found a way to win. This is not just a dangerous Kansas team. This is one of the this is the best starting 5, I think, in college basketball. Kansas has the best starting 5 in college basketball. Where they will trip up is depth. Listen to the starting minutes. The minutes of the starters, I should say. Listen to the minutes of the starters. For Adams, 27 minutes. 27 minutes for KJ Adams, and that is on the low end. Hunter Dickinson, 37 minutes. DeJuan Harris Jr., 38 minutes. Marco Jackson, 24 minutes. Low end, Kevin McCullough, 37 minutes. The guys came off the bench, 8, 12, 4, 13. A team like Baylor, they have a ton of depth this year. They're going to give teams fits because of the depth. They're going to give Kansas fits because of the depth. But then you say that and you think, where does depth matter the most? To me, it's at the end of the game. To me, it's when you need a breather. And where was Kansas in that scenario? Down by 6. You're at the 5-minute mark, you're down by 6. Now is where you need the depth. No, not Bill Self's Jayhawks. Clutch shooting. Very smart, fundamental, and savvy play down the stretch. And you win a game that, to me, felt like March. You win a game 89-84 that felt like March. Down by 7 at the break. You outscore Kentucky by 12 in the second half. You make the free throws that matter. You get the rebounds that matter. Neutral site. And I really believe it is a Kentucky team that's going to finish the season in the top 10 of college basketball. They're going to be a 2 or a 3 seed, maybe even a 1 seed when the young core, or at least a new core of guys, puts it together. You saw how athletic and stupid good their starting 5 is. Their depth is not great. That's going to be a kryptonite for them as well. But right now, the 5 they had on the floor, I was blown away with Kentucky. As impressed as I was with Kansas, I was blown away with Kentucky, which means that I was doubly impressed with what Kansas did to win this game. There's just, and look, maybe you're not a Kansas fan. Maybe you think they're cheaters and you go, I hate that I'm going to have to listen about Kansas. But look, when a team is good, right? I went to a basketball rival school. And the only reason they're recent rivals is because Baylor was so good. But you just, game's got to recognize game. You got to respect game. You look across the way and go, you know what? That team's good. And they are the kings of the Big 12. They're going to win the Big 12 championship. You can't convince me otherwise until something else happens. You can't convince me otherwise until it doesn't happen. It's all Kansas this year in the Big 12. They prove that. They are the best starting five. They might not be the deepest team. That could get them in fit. That could give them fits and get them in trouble. But it didn't last night. They outlasted Kentucky in the end. Very impressed with Kansas basketball. It's Bill Self, man. He's going to be doing it for 10 more years, just dominating people. The dude is crazy, stupid good. Another national championship caliber team, not just Big 12 championship, national championship caliber team. This is a national championship caliber program. Took a Benadryl earlier and a steroid today. Yeah. Been warring against each other, every 3 minutes, like I'm trying to fall asleep. In the other 3 minutes, I'm just wired. Thanks for sticking around with me, huh? This has been It Always Will Be. Come back tomorrow. We'll beat the books. Talk a little more about this Big 12 changing their rules stuff. Locked on. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Doce Grande.